What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I had to do this. This is breaking news. Breaking. Had to do this because those of you who have been with me through shutdown channels since 2014 know that I used to do show reviews. I used to do If Loving You Is Wrong, The Haves and the Have-Nots, and I used to do Welcome to Sweetie Pies. Well, I just was made aware of this when I was watching today's recording of TMZ. And this is shocking. But I want to get into it because I want to find out more about it, and I also want to discern whether or not I think this is the truth. Now, let's see. This is a St. Louis Post-Dispatch. They're in St. Louis. We should go with this one. Alright. Now, they're alleging this is a murder-for-hire plot, and that this guy Tim, who is one of the owners and the son of Miss Robbie, who started this Sweetie Pies restaurant in St. Louis, and then they got their reality show on OWN. And damn, stop advertising shit, man. Damn. Then they got their show on OWN, and the rest is kind of history. You know, this is Miss Robbie here in the red chef outfit. This, I could not stand the sight of her. This is Janae, who thinks she's white, who named her son Tammy, and even says it like that, Tommy. I'm not going to dwell on her because I'll throw up. This is Tim Norman. This is the dude. I ride with him to the end of the earth, period. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Don't know who she is, can't remember. Don't think I've ever seen her, just don't know why she's in the picture. I'm over it. Then this is his nephew, Charles. Alright, grandson of Miss Robbie. Alright, now. So, or cousin. I'm not good with family trees. I just know it's her grandson. This is her grandson. Charles is her grandson. This is her son, Tim. Did 10 years in prison when he was 17 years old. When he was a teenager, he went to prison. Alright. Came out, worked in the family business. When they got the reality show, he started capitalizing on the fact that now they're famous. And so he started opening up different locations across the country. And then that started a rift between him and his mother. You know, she just felt like he's taking the business too fast. It was kind of a understandable rift because I forget how old she is. Obviously, she's not 21. So she's on her way out. You know, if, you know, the normal course of things play out, she's on her way out. He's still on his way up. So he had the vision of, now let's use this fame now, and people coming to our restaurant from all over the country and all over the world, busloads of people showing up at their restaurants everywhere, lines down the street. I mean, it was just huge. So he was like, let's make this into a national franchise. I'm not mad at him. She just couldn't see the vision. But I could also understand her, because when you have a business, any entrepreneur will tell you, when you have a business, it's like your baby. It's your baby, man. And you start and you treat it, that's how you respond to everything. Like, wait, you're trying to take my baby. Wait, I don't know if my baby wants to do this. I shouldn't let my baby do that. I don't know, you know. It's very daunting. Okay, wait, some more pictures? Okay, good. Does this look like a murder for hire, dude? You understand? And they have money. There they are with Oprah. I don't think I need to see another picture. Do we need to read this at all? I don't think we need to. There's Timmy. Tim's son from her ass. Okay, nothing there. Beautiful picture of him and his mother. Wow. I love that. I just love that. Anyways, so let us understand now. Okay, murder for hire charges against the son of Sweet Pie's owner after latest chapter in a troubled life. This is the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Aaron Hefferman. So we know this is a Zionist. Hefferman, definitely not an African person. Let's get them in here. Boom. What'd I tell you? A Zionist bitch. Right there. Done. But I always tell you, when we read articles, everybody, we want to know who is saying this to us. Who's saying it? Okay, it's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. We know we don't own it. So, we need to know who is saying this. This is 3 hours ago. Alright. And remember, every editorial piece that you're ever going to lay your eyes on has a writer, an editor, and a publisher, everybody. The font has been decided on. The layout, what pictures will be used. Do you understand? A final copy is sent, and it's decided if that's now editorial and is cleared for release, etc., etc. You have to know that when you read anything, even if it's just a damn recipe. Know what's in front of you. Know what's in front of you. So before we read anything, I would just like to lay the case to say that they have multiple restaurants. They have money. I can't. And this is the kid that they're claiming was the murder for hire. He came, I watched the show, I used to do reviews on it. He came from Texas to St. Louis to stay with Miss Robbie, this is his grandmother, or his aunt, because he was getting into bad things in Texas, and they want him on the right track. So when he came down to St. Louis, they gave him a job in the restaurant. In fact, there he is, I think, probably in restaurant garb there with an apron and the tie and all of it. So he could get into school. They even televised his graduation on one of the episodes. There was no animus between, him and Tim. There's no reason. But let's find out now. St. Louis. James Timothy Norman, reality star or reality TV storyline, often feature his search for redemption from a violent past. Right there. Definitely written by a Zionist white bitch. James Timothy Norman's reality TV storyline often featured his search for redemption from a violent past. No, it didn't. It featured him running the restaurant. He would go and give lectures sometimes at different schools and to uplift kids and say, I did 10 years in prison. I don't want y'all to go down that road. He was quick to hire any felons off the street to work in the restaurant, give them a second chance. Their whole motto was everybody deserves a second chance. So this opening line is a lie by a white devil writing it. Do you understand? This is why we must tell any and all of our stories. This is libel right here. This misstates the show and the portrayal of his character, or of his. He's not a character of him on the show. I'll read it. The opening line says, his reality show, his reality TV storyline, often featured his search for redemption from a violent past. No, because his past wasn't violent. And he wasn't searching for redemption. I can't. Making Tuesday's news of his alleged murder-for-hire plot, a shock to viewers who watched him mourn the death he is now accused of facilitating. Tim, who's 41, was a star of Welcome to Sweetie Pie's, a reality show that ran for 5 seasons on OWN and highlighted Sweetie Pie's, a St. Louis soul food business owned by his mother, Robbie Montgomery. Tim was arrested Tuesday and accused in federal court of orchestrating the shooting death of his 21-year-old nephew, Andre Montgomery. The nephew, who also appeared on the show, was Robbie's grandson. Federal authorities say Norman hired Tarika Ellis, a former St. Louis resident who was working in Memphis, Tennessee as an exotic dancer, to help in the March 2016 killing near Fairground Park. Prosecutors say Tim then attempted to collect on the life insurance policy of his nephew's death. I'm over it. On Wednesday, past TV clips of Tim's reaction to his nephew's death circulated online. He visited the scene of the killing with his mother, Robbie, along with TV cameras for a 2016 episode. Quote, "Since Andre's passing, I haven't gone through this part of the city," Tim said on the show. "Really, I've been avoiding it." The 21-year-old was killed in the 3900 block of Natural Bridge Avenue, not far from where Tim's father was killed shortly before his birth. Robbie Montgomery's nephew was also shot and killed nearby. Norman is in a later episode sat a few seats from his mother as she was interviewed about her grandson's killer. Quote, "To pick up a gun is easy," end quote, she said. Quote, "But to take someone's life that you can't give back, that is devastating." That's her. Prosecutors say Tim took out $450,000 in life insurance policy on his nephew Andre in 2014, making himself the sole beneficiary. He also made false statements about his nephew's income and family history in the policy documents, according to charging documents. Just a second. Listen, I just told you Andre came from Texas because he was trying to be a gang member and be just a dumbass teenager. So it's not unthinkable. You come to St. Louis, Mike Brown was killed there. There was even an episode where he was out protesting with protesters during that whole thing. And one of their locations of their restaurant, they didn't know if it was in danger of being, burned and eluded and stuff, and they didn't touch it. Thank goodness. But I'm trying to say that I could see him taking out a life insurance policy on him. And what do they say? He also made false statements about his nephew's income and family history. Well, people lie on life insurance policies. They just do. This means nothing. This means nothing. It means nothing. I remind you, they own restaurants, everybody. In fact, when I used to do reviews of the show, I used to highlight how from one season to the next they'd have different cars, and now people are driving different cars and different houses, and we can see the money is rolling in, you feel me? That own money is rolling in, But their restaurants were already successful, but they became hugely successful with this show. You understand? Like, that's it. Busloads of people came from all over the country, and indeed the world, to be at their damn restaurant. Celebrities, everything, dude. Like, this was the spot. The spot. So, if their case is this life insurance policy and that would be the motive for murder, I just don't believe you. They say he took out the policy in 2014. When was Andre killed? His 21-year-old nephew. Wait now. along with TV cameras for a 2016 episode. So 2 years later, now we'll kill him off and get the $450,000. If I take out a life insurance policy on you for money, I'm killing you the next day. Let the record show. So don't ever let the Jedi take out a life insurance policy on you. Don't do that. You understand? Like, no, this doesn't. So you take out the policy in 2014 and then wait 2 years, and now we'll kill him off? Nah. And this also has the stench of a St. Louis prosecutor and federal agents and so forth trying to make a name for themselves on a high-profile case. You understand? The white devil can have motive. Goddammit, I can show you a different motive. Where they have restaurants, they have property. You understand? So, the mother, Robbie, she's elderly. She's on her way out in the natural succession of things. We can't have this young 41-year-old, tall, good-looking man, black man, running all of this. Quick, let's come up with a scandal. Nah. You want to tell me they were destitute, their restaurants were failing, and oh my God, they couldn't go on? Okay. But $450,000 is not a lot of money for people that run a business like this, everybody. You're in the restaurant business. That's probably your annual food cost, even. Or at least total cost of operations, the very least. For one location. The type of volume they do, that's not a lot of money. It's just not. It's not. It's a lot to me and you. Trust and believe. Like, let us understand. But I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to put it in context for you. So the shock is not upon you. You're like, okay, now I can see. Okay, all right, but that really ain't no money. That's not no money. That's not, and it's only $450,000. You understand? That's not even $500,000. You want to tell me it was a $2 million policy? $1 million policy? $450? Not so much. Not so much. Not so much. Tim was 18, or no, Andre was 18 when Tim took out the policy. So, 3 years. Yeah, because he was 18 and he was 21 when he was killed. 19, 20, 21. So that's 3. So Andre was 18 when Tim took out the policy. Andre had been featured on the show 1 year earlier, graduating from McClure North High School. Yeah. Like I said, they filmed it. It was part of the episode. Everybody was happy for him. The show documented the teen's transition moving from Texas to live with his grandmother near St. Louis so she could help him get through school and to just keep him on the right track. You know? They cleaned him up. I want Andre to become a successful man, Robbie said in the graduation episode. And now I think he knows whatever he wants to do, if he puts forth the effort, he can do it. By March 2016, Tim had moved to Los Angeles near a new restaurant he owned in Inglewood. Alright, well, they opened 2 restaurants in California. They opened one in Inglewood and one in North Hollywood. I watched the damn show. Do you understand? And let us also understand that, what was it they say? The shoot document. Okay, through school. I'll move on. Something just came to me and I can't remember it now. Oh, alhamdulillah, all knowledge is with Allah. Let us also understand that Miss Robbie, everybody, was part of the Ikettes with the Ike and Tina show, Ike and Tina Turner show. Like, her and Tina Turner are like 2 peas in a pod. Tina Turner even cried speaking in high regard about Miss Robbie when she was interviewed by Oprah after the show had began to air. They have a loving relationship. She hadn't seen Miss Robbie in years. They kind of lost contact, but she had very fond, very deep emotional memories of her and how wonderful and kind and what a good friend she is and all of it. It was very beautiful, this is the dude that was helping. He was, when he knew his mother was trying to do music again, he went and hired producers and a studio and songwriters and stuff and surprised her. Like, you said you wanted to do this, I did it for you. Like, this is not. Let's read on, because I can't with this, dude. I can't. I'm always willing to be wrong, but something about this stinks of white devilry and other motive. Because, like I say, get him out of the way, then we just wait for the old lady to die off and we seize their shit. It's time and again. This is what white people have done on big and large scales to African people anytime we have any money or success. That's the fucking truth. Damn it. Early in the morning, the day his nephew was killed, Tim arrived in St. Louis by plane and booked a room at the Chase Park Plaza Hotel, according to the court documents. Okay. But they don't say whether or not he still has a home there or not. Let's read on. By 1 p.m. So he arrives. Okay, early in the morning he arrived. Okay. By 1 p.m. that day, 2 burner phones, prosecutors say, were used by Ellis and Norman, were activated in St. Louis. Court documents claim that at 7 p.m. that night, Andre texted Ellis the address of the recording studio where Andre, who was an aspiring rapper according to the show, was working. About an hour later, he was shot at the same location. After receiving Andre's text, prosecutors say Ellis immediately called Tim. Witnesses told police that Andre took a call just before 8 p.m. that night and went outside to meet someone. A review of his phone records showed police that Andre spoke to 2 people in the 10 minutes before he was shot, Ellis and another friend. Prosecutors say Ellis was saved in Andre's phone under her stage name and Instagram handle, Alexis the Great. I'm over it. Ellis's phone data also put her at the scene of the crime, according to charging documents. Quote, despite being at the scene of Andre's murder at 8:02, end quote, the document stated, quote, Ellis's call was not to police, but to Tim at 8:03. Well, I don't know. Somebody else could have been on the phone calling police. We don't know what the scene was. And let's read on, man. Prosecutors say location data shows Ellis then drove away from the scene and headed back to Memphis. Okay. The burner phones were turned off the next day and never used again, documents say. Well, you know what? It could have been a booty call, dude. And he could have just been trying to keep it down low. This ruined the whole atmosphere. Your nephew just got killed. I'm not really thinking about a hookup after that. I'm good. Go home. Over the next few days, Ellis deposited more than $9,000 in cash into several bank accounts, prosecutors say. A week after the death, Tim contacted a life insurance company and attempted to collect on his nephew's policy. but he never received the money because of lack of documentation according to court documents. Just a second. It was a week later, and lack of documentation, but I'm sure he was paying on this policy, so they didn't have no problem with the documentation then. But we know that white people have a habit of doing this shit. That's why you don't take out no life insurance policy with no white people. You don't take out homeowners insurance on their bitch ass. No storm insurance and none of that. Because let us remember that after the Katrina, after they blew up the levees to flood black people out and take our shit down there, they wouldn't let us come back. People didn't even have any damage. They had boarded up their shit and told them they couldn't come back. That's one. Second of all, you had people down there who had been paying their policies for their insurances for many, many decades. And they told them if they had wind damage, they go, well, you had water damage. If they were claiming water damage, they said, well, you had wind damage. They found a reason not to fucking pay. Just like when they burned us out of fucking Greenwood, Oklahoma in 1921. They did the same shit. Wouldn't pay any policies. The white man is the devil. Do you understand? And you have to infer that in every fucking thing that takes place in this nation. Everything, including this. Everything. Because it's white evil first and then everything else after that. This was not a destitute man who needed $450,000 goddamn dollars. And oh, by the way, this concerns me. Ellis deposited more than $9,000 in cash in several bank accounts. I doubt it. Because, what they say? She was, her stage name was Duh Something. Something. Whatever. Anyways, my point is, first of all, $9,000 is not a lot of money. That's first. It looks like a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. It's not, everybody. It's not. Damn it, it's not. It's just not a lot of money. Second of all, several bank accounts. You only do several bank accounts when you're trying to hide like several $100,000. You feel me? Or a few million. Like $9,000, you stuff that in your wig, a little bit in your purse, some in your shoe. $9,000 is not no money, everybody. Let me just put it in basic terms for you. There are such things as $1,000 bills. You would have 9 of those. That's it. How hard do you think you need to, how much space do you think you need to hide $1,000 bills? Just 9 of them. Just 9. Just 9. Even if you had it in 20s, it's still not a lot of money. If you had it in hundreds, it's still not a lot of money. Physically, it's not a lot of money to hold or to carry or to have on you. $9,000. This means nothing. And this lack of documentation, you know, and so if you didn't pay out the policy, do I at least get my premiums back? I'd like to know that. Do you understand? I assume this is his mugshot, but he's smiling. That's saying this is some bullshit. This dude was kind, I'm telling you, man. Like, we watched him for 5 seasons. This is not a murder for hire dude. It just, for what? Tim was upfront about his criminal past on Welcome to Sweetie Pies, often describing the difficulties in rebuilding a life after spending 10 years in prison beginning as a teen. Well, it wasn't difficult. In fact, he pointed out that he was lucky because he had a family business he could go into. A lot of people didn't have that. That's why he was so quick to hire brothers and sisters who had come out of jail and had felonies and all that kind of stuff. You could definitely get a job at Sweetie Pies. They had no problem with that. No problem. He was always up, and he gave lectures at schools about, he messed up when he was 17. He was in prison for 10 years, and, he spoke about that, and not in sad terms. Often describing the difficulty of rebuilding his life and spending 10 years before he began as a teen. Tim was 17 and a senior at Hazelwood Central High School in 1990s, when he and another teen were charged with a series of felonies and accused of robbing at gunpoint 2 McDonald's and an auto parts store in Florissant. I haven't heard anything terrible. I just haven't heard it. I just haven't heard it. And again, when we hear about crime, everybody, you're supposed to go, ooh, they're bad. No. 1997. Think about it. And then not only that, they put a felony on us for everything. Everything's a fucking felony. You see? So accused of robbing at gunpoint 2 McDonald's. Well, McDonald's is a billion-dollar conglomerate, so it meant nothing. And how much they get away with, if anything. And nobody was killed. And an auto parts store. I tell you, most crime is financial, because people just don't have the fucking money. If this was an equitable society, you'd have no robberies. You think they did this for their jollies? They wanted money. That's it. So, that's why I tell you, sometimes you have to get the remote of life and hit the slow motion button. Just hit slow motion. You see? Then you can understand better. So, this was 1997. This means nothing. That's more than 20 years ago. Do you understand? So, we're over that. Tim was featured in the Post-Dispatch in 2008, shortly after he was released from prison for his involvement in local theater. He began his acting career through a program for inmates, according to the story. Well, just a second. His acting career? He's never had an acting career, everybody. And they say he began his acting career as if he's had a career. There's been no movie career, no acting career. Nothing. He was in local theater, and that's it, bitch. Let's not extrapolate that into, oh my god, he was up for an Oscar. I'm over it. But again, I already showed you who's writing this. You see? He began his acting career through a program for inmates, according to the story. I'm over it. Quote, I did a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things except hurt a child. He told the Post-Dispatch at the time. When I went in, I was 17 years old. This is an odd quote. I did a lot of things. That's fine. A lot of things, a lot of bad things, except hurt a child. What is that needed for? And he was 17. 17-year-olds are idiots. They don't know anything, and they'll do anything. So that means nothing. Alright. By 2011, when the family's reality show premiered, Tim was working at Sweetie Pie's for his mother, a renowned former backup singer for Ike and Tina Turner, among other famous artists. Right. Okay. Tim's history in prison was featured several times on the show, including one episode where mother and son took a trip to the Missouri prison where he had served time. Right. I saw it. Quote, my son went to prison at the age of 17, and to a mother, that's like a child has died, Robbie Montgomery said in the show. But Tim's legal troubles continued after he gained notoriety through reality TV. They have to come back to this. Dum dum dum. His mother sued him in June of 2016, claiming his operation of Sweetie Pie's restaurant was copyright infringement. Tim wanted to expand the business into a national chain, but he eventually had to close several locations. Damn it all to hell. You see? But they begin, but his legal troubles continued. And then they back it up with nothing. And it ends with a period. After that, it should be a bullet of a bunch of shit he's done. Because they just said, his legal troubles continued. But alas, it was nothing. His mother sued him. That is just a family dispute in a civil proceeding. That means nothing. What? You see? But he eventually had to close several locations. In April 2017, Tim was charged with misdemeanor assault at a Houston restaurant location that has since closed. A former chef at the restaurant accused him of punching him in his face when the chef asked about paychecks for the other employees, according to charging documents. That case is ongoing. Just a second. This is meant to say that there wasn't money to pay the employees, everybody. That's what this whole paragraph is for. You see, when a former chef at the restaurant accused of punching him in the face, when the chef asked about paychecks for other employees. So he wasn't asking about his own? And how many other employees, White Devil? I ask you now. The case is ongoing. You see. Because there's nothing there. But what this illuminates for me is what I already suspect. There is a concerted effort to try and get him. Remember, Mama's on the way out. We can't have this young black nigger running shit. We have to take him down. Do you understand? Tim was living in Jackson, Mississippi, where he co-owns Sweetie Pie's location at the time of his arrest. So he was living in Jackson, Mississippi. Huh? Where he co-owns a Sweetie Pie's location. And I'm sure if we pull up the numbers and Google that location, we will see that it is a thriving location in a beautiful area, and it's just packed all the time. And he doesn't need $450,000. Damn it. He faces charges of conspiracy to use internet commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire resulting in a death. Who is Tarika Ellis? Well, first of all, she needs to cleanse with these edges in the front and that damn center part. Oh my God, she's a beautiful sister though. Look, no makeup, nothing going on, and she's just beautiful. Beautiful skin, beautiful everything. Just take this fucking camel's hump off your head. Where's my punch, y'all? I'll just pretend I didn't see that picture. I won't look over there. I won't look. I'm not looking. There, I feel better. Prosecutors will not say how Ellis and Norman met. Because they don't know. Because it's probably just a hookup. Why wouldn't you say how they met? Not, they don't know. Hear the language, everybody. Prosecutors will not say. It's very important. Because, is it they don't know? Or, to tell doesn't work in their favor? Which one? They won't say. But, court records show Ellis lived for a time in North St. Louis County. Okay, that could just be coincidental. So what? Ellis was living in Florissant in 2010, according to court records, tied to a landlord dispute. Well, that was 2010. Andre's not killed till 2016. Court documents say she later moved to Memphis, but would occasionally return to visit St. Louis area. But would occasionally return to visit the St. Louis area to visit. So they can't proofread because they're so busy writing their lies. They all became overzealous, and therefore, I'll just read it again in case I missed something. Court documents say she later moved to Memphis, but here it is, but would occasionally visit the St. Louis area to visit. She would visit to visit, everybody. She would occasionally return to visit the St. Louis area to visit. I'm over it. Court documents also show that Ellis has 2 misdemeanor convictions. Oh, here we go. From 2006 and 7. One is an indecent exposure charge connected to her employment at the time at the Pure Passion strip club in Memphis. Just a second. She's getting an indecent exposure charge when she works at where? It must be at the Eucharist Church on 5th. I'm sure that's what they're going to tell me. No, it's the Pure Passion strip club, everybody, where she has a charge for indecent exposure at a Pure Passion strip club. Stop the video when I lie. So that was bogus. What else? According to charging documents, the other is a drug possession offense. Well, that could be anything. Because, while they're making billions on fucking marijuana, these white devils, anytime we have marijuana, it's a drug offense. They're on drugs. So that means nothing. We'll move on. Ellis was, and now that was 2006 and 2007, so it's ancient and nobody cares. Ellis was arrested in July and faces the same conspiracy to murder for hire charges as Norman. So just a second. So this was July and we're just finding out about it now? In mid-August? Somebody's trying to make a name for themselves in the prosecutor's office, everybody. And at the same time, white people are trying to grab this business and this land. Any and all businesses and their locations. Because all white people do, everything they own and are, they have stolen, raped, and pillaged it from all the rest of fucking humanity. Nothing have they gotten on their own. They don't even know the meaning of pulling themselves up by their goddamn bootstraps. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's what this looks like to me. More theft and heist. I'm over it. Was that the end of that article? Yeah. Yeah. Sweet Pie owner sues son alleged trademark infringement as his restaurants. Over it. Tarika Ellis. In a mugshot from a previous arrest. From Shelby County, Tennessee. Photo courtesy of Shelby County Sheriff's Office. I'm over it. One more, everybody, because I can't. That was the St. Louis Dispatch. Let's look at CNN. Because I sense something else here. And if we know nothing else about white people, and certainly their media and all of this and their law enforcement, is that there's nothing but evil and lies and deception there. Period. So, this is Madeline Holcomb, another white bitch. And Raja Razik, no doubt some dude from India who thinks he's white. He's more of a Sanjay Gupta type. They come here, they forget all their fucking culture, and they act just like white people. So we're over Raja Razik. without even knowing him. We could say that. Matter of fact, let's just get him up here. CNN journalist. Yeah, let's get him. Is it a female? Raja? Well, it's Indian. It could be male or female. Let me get images. Whatever Raja is, let's get him in here. Articles by Raja. Raja, Twitter. Okay, no real picture. So it's very ambiguous. We don't know. Whatever. Just Raja Rezik. God damn it. Son of Sweet Pie's owner charged of murder for hire plot to kill nephew. This kills me. Authorities arrested a man in Mississippi. Just a second. Authorities arrested a man? Like, this is right up there with, we have a gentleman here who's not breathing. You're talking about Michael Jackson, the most famous human being ever recorded in human history. And you get on the phone and say, we have a gentleman here? And like, that still burns my ass to this day, dude. Like, the person making that call, they should have gone to jail for 4 years. Just due to. But this is their opening line. After this header and a big ass 8x10 color picture of the brother. Appreciate they used a good picture. And then they go, where's my cursor? Oh my god, my mouse just went out, everybody. Mala suerte, mi vida. Oh my god, I can't. Where do I have AA batteries? Hold on, everybody. I'm doing this in real time. Wait, y'all. Let me change the batteries in this damn mouse. I can't. But they say now, authorities arrested a man. So I tell you to analyze everything that you read and watch, everybody. Because the devilry of these people comes out. It's just oozing out of everything. This is a hit piece. This is not a reporting of the story and the facts as they are known up till now. This is a collusion. This is white collusion. This is CNN that we're reading from now. This is a hit piece. You do this header, you know who he is, who his mama is, he's the son of, so you know who his mama is. There's his picture, his full government, and then you open with, authorities arrested a man. Huh? Are you following me? Are you following me? A man. It could have been a Jedi. We're still looking. We don't know who it is. Even though there's a picture of him right there, as we write this, we don't know who we're talking about. Who was it again? Madeline and Raza, they were just writing feverishly. They didn't know who it was, so they just had to write authorities arrested a man, but they're still trying to find out who it was because we just don't know, and we can't. Amen, everybody. There's a reason why I'm really forcing this right now, because I really want it to be left as an imprint upon you. The significance of that tells me this is a hit piece. A man in Mississippi on Tuesday for allegedly commissioning a murder for hire plot that killed his teenage nephew. His teenage nephew. Son of his teenage nephew, a man. Are you following me? Next paragraph. Government name, James Timothy Norman. They could have said that up here. Authorities arrested James Timothy Norman in Mississippi on Tuesday. No. A man. Do you understand? These are supposed to be professional people who have been to school and have degrees in journalism and all of it, everybody. This was a waste of ink and indeed editorial space, quite frankly. Unless their motive is what I'm articulating. You don't waste time, you don't waste ink and space. Then they open with the second paragraph. James Timothy Norman, I feel like they even mentioned his blood type there in his DNA sample, was charged in a federal complaint last week, according to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Missouri. Tim, I'm just calling him Tim, is the son of Robbie Montgomery, a reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Just a second, everybody. Did you see it? Oh, we're going to teach here today. I'll read it again. You see if you notice it. Where do I want to begin? In a federal complaint last week, according to news release. Okay. Tim is the son of Robbie Montgomery, reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, according to St. Louis Dispatch. Sounds very innocent, doesn't it? Well, here's our issue, everybody. This comma. This is meant to be deceptive. They've already told you a man. I'm trying to dissect for you how they fucking lynch your bitch ass with their white devil bullshit in an article that looks fucking innocent. Do you understand what I'm telling you? We're going to learn right now. Now, let us understand this. They just told you a man. And then suddenly they have an epiphany and they know his name and age and everything. But here's where they go. Norman is the son of Robbie Montgomery, reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, according to St. Louis Dispatch. No. This comma is the evil element here, everybody. Because what you're supposed to be left understanding is he's the son of this woman who is a reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant. No. They're trying to absolve themselves of libel with just this comma. Because what it should say is Norman is the son of Robbie Montgomery, and not a comma, and reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, because that's who he is. He is the reason they had a reality show on the OWN network. He did that. You understand? But this comma is meant to absolve them of libel and slander and misrepresent. You're supposed to be left with they're describing her. They're backhandedly admitting his credential that he is the reality star and he is the owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant. Do you see how crafty their evil serpentry is, and how velveteen they speak and write with the forked tongue of a snake? Who saw that before I said it to you? You would just read it. Norman is the son of Robbie Montgomery, reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, as if that's her. No. Norman, Tim, is the son of Robbie and reality star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant. Do you understand? CNN has reached out to Tim's public defender for comment. Just a second. Public defender, everybody. Oh my God, we're going to be here a minute. We're going to be here. We're going to be here because y'all know how I get. Just a second. And this is on again, a writer, an editor, and a publisher, everybody. They have picked the font. They have picked the layout. They have approved the final copy in its content and its physical layout. This is what you always hear me call an island. There it is, all by itself, just floating, just out there, just out on a dinghy, just by itself, not connected to the landmass before it or after it. And these never disappoint. Do you understand? I should do one day I should do a video of just go through articles and just pick out what I call the little islands. The little peninsulas. That's what this is. Do you understand? CNN has reached out to Norman's public defender for comment, period. Nothing else. This is CNN. This is a reality star from the OWN network that owns a chain of restaurants across these United States of this bitch. And you want me to believe that he has a public defender, everybody. Your bitch ass gets a public defender. Someone who has holdings and assets and a reality show on the OWN network for 5 seasons, no less. Excuse me. Does not have a public defender. And that's why this is a peninsula ending in a period. Because they don't even tell us what the result of this reaching out, what it produced. What fruit did it produce? Well, we reached out. Okay. And that's like I walk in and go, honey, I went to the bank. And you go, meanwhile, you got a bunch of shit that's supposed to be paid and deadlines. And I just walk in and go, I went by the bank. Doesn't say if I went in, did I make a withdrawal, did I get the money, what's the state, nothing. I went to the bank. Okay, what else? This is that, everybody. Well, CNN reached out to Norman's public defender for comment. But they put a period there because A, he doesn't have a public fucking defender. That's first. No doubt he has a known attorney that he can call. So they didn't reach out, and that's why there's no result of what happened to their reaching out. It didn't happen. Because you know yourself, before hearing me on this, that anytime you've read anything where they reached out to anybody, they go, but couldn't be reached for comment, or they had no comment, or they told us this and the X, Y, and the Z. None of that here. Just CNN reached out to his public defender for comment, and that's just it. Because I've already told you, they started out with a man. Then they tried to cloak his true status of who he is and what he owns in this sentence here by using this comma, leaving you to believe that they were talking about Robbie Montgomery. And then the very next thing is this island will reach out to his public defender for comment. Not a public defender. They name him, apostrophe S, his public defender. He wouldn't have a public defender. This is a family and a man who has a few coins. You understand? They got a few coins. I don't know what their net worth is, but they've got a few coins. You understand? That's why it's just left all alone on this little peninsula that will sail away into oblivion and never be seen ever again, and no one will know. Huh? Then they move on. The complaint alleges that Tim conspired with an exotic dancer residing in Memphis, Tennessee, and others to use facility of interstate commerce, namely a cellular phone, to commit murder for hire in exchange for United States currency. This is their case. That's the pleading. That's the court pleading. That he conspired with an exotic dancer residing in Memphis and others that they don't name or insinuate. Quote now. This is your quotations. That anything outside of a quotation can be bullshit and has no legal responsibility unless it's libel or slander. But when it's in quotations, that's meant to insinuate gospel law, everybody, certainly in an editorial context. That's a quotation, bitch. Quote. To use this, so the complaint alleges, so this up here means nothing, because they could have put this in the quotations too, alleges that Norman conspired with an exotic dancer residing in Memphis, Tennessee. Notice that's not in quotations, you see? The complaint alleges, they represent it as the complaint, but it's not in quotations. So if this was part of the complaint, it should say the complaint alleges, quote. This is where your quotation should be, right before the word that. That Norman conspired with an exotic dancer in Memphis, Tennessee, and others. But none of that is in quotations. The quotation begins here. Quote, to use facility. To use a facility of interstate commerce, comma, namely, comma, a cellular phone, comma, to commit a murder for hire in exchange for United States currency, end quote. Now, Jedi, what does that mean? That means this up here, that he conspired with the exotic dancer in Memphis, Tennessee, and others, is white evil. Do you understand? And it's probably libel, at the very least. Because, as I articulated already, they said, they begin this paragraph. The whole purpose that this paragraph exists, according to them, is to tell us what the complaint is. The legal complaint. They say the complaint alleges, and it should say quotations then, that Norman, and etc., but it doesn't. So you throw all that out, all the way up here to this, her and others. Now, next thing, the dancer has also been charged in the plot according to the release. Period. But there's that peninsula again. The dancer has also been charged in the plot according to the release. They couldn't have put that with this or added it to this down here. Why is it on a peninsula? Huh? Why is it there? And no quotations.
In 2014, Tim obtained a $450,000 life insurance policy on his 18-year-old nephew, Andre Montgomery. Tim was the sole beneficiary, according to the release. In the days leading up to Andre's murder, the other suspect communicated with Andre and told him she was planning to be in St. Louis. How do we know that? He's dead. How do we know she told him she was planning to be in St. Louis? If he's dead. How do we know that? How do we know that? Think about that, everybody. How do we know that? Because this is not from her person. This is being told from his person. I'll just read it again. In the days leading up to Andre's murder, the other suspect communicated with Andre and told him she was planning to be in St. Louis. That's from his perspective, being told. The day before Andre's murder, 13th March 2016, Tim flew to St. Louis from his home in Los Angeles. Now, he's got a home in Los Angeles, California. And, what'd they say? He was residing in, where did we read it? Might have been the previous one. That he was living in, at the time of his arrest, remember? Might have been the previous article. Ah, man. Y'all remember it. My point is, the brother has more than one home. We have more than one home. You don't really need to kill somebody for $450,000. You just don't need to. You just, like, you just don't. So the day before, 13th March, he flew to Missouri from his home in Los Angeles. The next day, the two were in communication using the temporary phones they had activated that day. Well, that could be just before a smash, you see. The female suspect, quote, also used the temporary phone to communicate with Andre and learn his physical location, end quote. Well, just a second. You just said up here that he had been communicated with and told she was planning to be in St. Louis. Now they say she was also communicated with him, used the phone to learn his physical location. Well, which one is it? Seems if he knew she was going to be in town, he would know where she's going to be, and she would know where he was going to be. When you tell somebody you're coming into town, first thing he says, "Where you going to be at?" "I'm coming." "Where you going to be at?" "Where you staying at?" "Well, where you going to be at?" You see? After learning Andre's location, she immediately placed a call to Tim, according to the release. That day, around 8:02, Andre was shot to death, the release said. The woman's, quote, phone location information placed her in the vicinity of the murder at the time of the homicide. That's a quotation, everybody, because they told us in the last one that she was at the scene of the crime, bitches. The scene of the crime is what they said. Now here in quotations, which is the equivalent of being on a penalty of perjury, and certainly to stave off any libel or slander, they've used quotations, and the language is different. Being in the vicinity is vastly different than being at the scene of. You were standing at the McDonald's counter, bitch. I was the block over. I'm in the vicinity, but I'm not at the counter. You understand the language? Phone location information placed her in the vicinity. That can mean anything. Following Andre's murder, she placed another call to Tim and traveled towards Memphis. Again, none of this is in quotations. Traveled towards Memphis, Tennessee, according to the release. She also deposited $9,000 in cash into various bank accounts days after the murder. Again, no quotations. A week later, Tim contacted the life insurance company and tried to collect the policy, and he had taken out on his nephew, the release said. You see, all the pertinent stuff that was in quotations does not support the stuff that's not in quotations. You see. And various bank accounts? Is that at one institution? Because you could have a Roth IRA, you could have a CD, you could have a savings, you could have a checking, you could have a commercial, you could have, come on. And $9,000 is not no money. How many kids she got? You feel me? Do she got any kids? She could put some in her mama's account and a kid's account. Well, this means nothing. This means nothing. This means nothing, but this was meant to be a hit piece, everybody, to establish guilt before there's even a trial or a hearing. There's only been an arrest and an accusation. Nothing I've read here substantiates that this brother is guilty of what they're trying to insinuate. And when you have a crime, you have to establish motive. The motive doesn't work here because you got $450,000, which is nothing. And to a person who has homes in a home in Los Angeles, one in Memphis, or wherever, Jackson, wherever they said, and we know he's got something in St. Louis. They have multiple restaurants. They also received money from the reality show of being on OWN. Those reality shows pay a lot of money. And they were among the first shows that Oprah ever had on her damn network to drive the network. Do you understand? They don't need $450,000. I know personally from watching the show, as does anybody who watched it, the relationship between him and his nephew. This was just, if he was going to kill anybody, it would have been Charles's ass. Because Charles was a slacker. He always just wanted to be a manager. He couldn't get it together. He wasn't sure if he wanted to be a part of the business. I mean, he was a disaster area. And every week that I did a review on that show, y'all heard me bitching about Charles and his bitch ass. His choker wearing bitch ass. I can't. But I'm just saying, like, nah, this does not meet this doesn't meet the standard of proof for me, everybody. But for me, it's more than about just bringing this story because of my relationship to this, because I was so into that show. It's also to try to show you once again dissertation, scrutiny. You understand? How to rake apart the shit these people put in front of you. Especially when they're insinuating one of our own. Especially. Is this brother perfect? No, because only the Jedi is. That's fine. That's not what we're talking about. Alright, forget I said that. Alright, that means nothing. Alright, settle down. What I'm trying to say is, no, he's not perfect. But I know his character and I know his mama. You understand? We know his mama. We know how he was raised. So what? He stuck up at McDonald's. So what? They goddamn it owe us anyway. You see. So that means nothing. And the auto parts thing. So what? Fact of the matter is, none of that equals murder of your nephew for hire. For hire at that. Like, I'm gonna hire you to kill my nephew so I can get $450,000 when in just one of their restaurants, that's probably their annual food cost. Because remember, they serve good shit, dude. They're not selling hamburgers for $1. You understand? They're selling plates, macaroni and cheese, greens, chicken, fish, casseroles, vegetables, shit that costs. You understand? It cost. Plus all the employees they had. Go look at the shows. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube somewhere. Just one of their restaurants, just in St. Louis. The two main ones that they had 3 in St. Louis. No, 4, because he started that drive-through one where it was more like a fast food type place. Plus they had the one on Florissant. Plus they had Robbie's her dream one that she built with the stage and the dance floor and all of it. And then that flagship one that they had. That's just 4 that I can call up right now just in St. Louis alone. You understand what I'm telling you? This dude don't need to kill nobody for $450,000. Let alone his nephew. This is white people trying to take him out because when Robbie croaks, he will be at the helm. And this brother pissed off his mom because he's trying to make their business into a national chain. You understand? And that will shut down Popeyes and KFC and their mama and a whole bunch of other people. And we can't have a national chain of a black restaurant. That's what this is about, everybody. And that's what you need to take away from this. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Like I said, if he was going to kill anybody, it would have been Charles. Andre gave him no trouble. At all. Or anybody else for that matter. There'd be no motive. Just money? That's it? Nah. Excuse me. This is white people trying to seize. White people trying to seize. That's what this is about. That's what it's about. A public defender. My ass. These people know some of the most powerful attorneys that you and I would know because they've been to their fucking restaurant. Their restaurants in St. Louis are destination locations. Do you understand? Showed you the picture of Oprah there. Even Oprah went her bitch ass there to have a plate with Gail, no less. You understand? Their food is amazing. That's what this is about. And if he punched a chef, who cares? That doesn't equal murder of your nephew for money of a lousy $450,000. They spend that opening a restaurant. This means nothing. I want you all to keep your eyes out for any updates on this story in case I miss them. But I'm going to continue to follow this story. I'm locking onto this like a pit bull, dude. Because what I know is what the divine allows me to see so clearly. This is years later. Andre's murdered in 2016. 17, 18, 19, 20. 4 years. 4 years. 4.5 years. And here you come now. And we know what happened. I don't believe you. Because what about all the other people that their white asses killed? The activists that we know they killed and we brought proof of. that they killed after the protests of Mike Brown's murder, and we got no suspects. No more on those cases. Nope, nothing to see here. But here you come 4 years later, now, with this. You understand? I don't believe you. And anytime white folks are reporting it, it's automatically not the truth until we have found grounds to validate it as the truth. That's just a hard, fast rule. Period. Like, that's just it. And that's just all. You understand what I'm telling you? So, again, with your help, we'll continue to follow this story, everybody. This is some bullshit, I proclaim. It just is. It just is. I know it. I know it. But let it also, as I said before, let it serve as an example for you once again of how to do a dissertation. Remember, these people don't let up. The expressions of their evil is in everything they do, including their hand. So when they write and present anything, is an opportunity for you to excavate and to illuminate and to be able to see clearly. You understand? How they think, how they operate. I broke this down for you for that reason. I always do that. Like, that's how I do in my, if I'm not doing a damn video, this is how I discern information in this fucking society. Read it. You're going to put something in front of me, anything, a picture, a video, an article, you put that in front of the Jedi, it's going to be raked apart. It just is. It just is. It just is. Do you understand? And this is no different. I should also point out, as I leave, this is not capitalized. That's a title. Nephew. It's not capitalized. Do you understand? So that's disrespect of the dead. Disrespect of the dead. We can allow they didn't use his mother's name in the header. Son of Sweetie Pie's owner. But son of. No capitalization on nephew. This is about a murder for hire. This represents the dead. He was the nephew. Why isn't it capitalized? Do you understand what I'm telling you? And then a man. When you're reading anything, if you've not been exposed to me before now, you've never seen me do this, this is what your ass needs to do when you read anything. I don't care if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on CNN, if you're on anything, reading anything, certainly anything that is of journalism and news from this white society, certainly if it has anything to do with us, this is how you should be picking it apart. This and then some and nothing less. Nothing less. Nothing, 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 nothing. So, the Jedi has spoken. I ask all of you to do visit the link in the description box underneath this video. Do go and donate to my campaign for my move to Ghana, West Africa. The GoFundMe link is under the video. Also, my Cash App tag is also listed under the video, the Jedi 1814. Go and give whatever you have in your power, everybody. This is not a requisite of, you must give $5, you must give this amount, you must give this amount. We're not doing that. Whatever you have in your power, that's what you give. And every donation is equal to me. I thank you guys in advance for your donation, and I'll see you soon.